Welcome, friends, to Let's Get Cooking Arizona Mexican Food with Janine. Come cook with me. Today we're going to be cooking green chili beef chimichangas with 4 pounds of chuck roast. Today we will be using guajillo chilies, dark chili powder, cumin, black peppercorn, bay leaves, coriander, salt, my 3 pepper blend, a tiny bit of beef broth. We'll need toothpicks, jalapenos, 2 onions because they're small. If you have a really big onion, you only need 1. A little bit of cornstarch, granulated garlic, and minced garlic, and then that La Pumas green sauce I talked about in my other video, and then the whole green chilies that I talked about in my other video. So I trimmed a lot of the big fat off of this meat. As you can see, quite a bit came off. I don't want big pieces of fat in my chimichangas, or you don't. And then we cut it into cubes. This is my Messaluna knife. It's pretty good. I can just rock it back and forth. And see how easy that cuts it. Needs to stay sharp though. You have to sharpen it all the time. Sharpen the Messaluna knife. So we like it in cubes because we want our chimichangas to have chunks of meat in them. That's why we cube them like this. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're just going to put the meat into a bowl. And we're just going to salt and pepper this and then stir it up. Okay. I'm using about 2 tablespoons of salt to start. And then we just want to do pepper. I'm going to use peppercorn. This is a grinder, so we're just going to grind up some pepper. And then you just pop the cap. And you got fresh ground pepper. That's probably about, I really want about a tablespoon, so I'm going to do a little more. Okay, I think we've got about a tablespoon there. Now that's the only spices we're going to put in for now. And I'm just going to work this in so it really gets into the meat. You kind of just want to work it with your hands. It's the best way. And just work it until you feel like you don't feel any granules. It should get infused to the meat good. Also, when you're cutting your jalapenos, it's helpful if you wear gloves because, well, you know, your hands will burn for days if your jalapenos are really hot like mine. Okay, I think that's good. I think they're fused. I think they're into the meat good. Now I'm going to take my meat over to the stove and I'm going to just braise it. I've got some avocado oil in my pan, just a tiny, tiny little bit. It doesn't take much. I'm going to turn my heat on medium, which is a 5, which is pretty high for propane, but, and then I'm just gonna put this meat in here. Now we just want to braise it. We don't want to cook it. We're just going to braise it. And this will take a while, so we'll let you go for now. Okay, this is what the meat looks like when it's braised. You see there's a lot of red still on it, but it's braised on both sides, but it's not cooked through. Okay, and we're going to put this meat in my cast iron pot that goes in the oven. So we're going to transfer this meat. That pan's kind of heavy, so I'm just going to grab this. Ooh, that's warm. Okay, and now here we have our, I'm going to make the chili tea that I've made before, sorry. And these are kilo chilies. They're seeded. The seeds are tough when they're dried like this. And then I'm going to put in 2 cloves of garlic. I'm going to put in 2 bay leaves. And a couple pieces of fat from our that was trimmed off the meat. And we're going to let that cook until it's the right color. And it's about a cup and a half of water, boiling water. Okay, our chili tea is ready to blend up. We're going to take the chilies and put them in our blender cup. We're going to keep the bay leaves. We're also going to put that in the blender cup. The garlic, the bay leaf, but not the fat that we put in there. That was just for flavor, so we're not going to put the fat in the blender. I didn't put a lot of fluid with this one this time, so I should be able to use all the fluid that I put in there. And we're not going to use the fat. We're just going to... And then we have that ready because that's going to go into our meat mixture. Lots of green chilies. Now this is what the green chili looks like when it comes out of this can. I said that are whole green chilies. So they're roasted, they're peeled, but some of them still have some seeds and you don't want the seeds. So we're not going to cut these, we're just going to pull them apart to put them, everything else is going to go in the meat that's going to go in the oven. So let me just show you a few, how I put them in there. So I just tear them into strips. Pretty simple, pretty simple. Just tear them into strips. because it's a green chili chimichanga. That's why there's lots of green chilies in it. This is what makes it a green chili chimichanga. You kind of get the idea. If you see a stray seed, try to get it out. So we're also going to put our onions and our jalapenos. This is 2 small onions, diced kind of big, but then one of the onions is in big clumps. We're just going to put all of that in there. We're going to need more green chilies, but you don't have to watch me do that. So we're going to put garlic in here. Even though we have some garlic in here, I'm still going to put more garlic. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon of minced garlic. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of powdered garlic. I'm going to put about, or I'm only going to put about half a cup of beef broth, because we're going to have a lot of green sauce. We're going to put our chicken starch, or cornstarch, in there. We're going to put 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. You can use flour, but I use cornstarch because it just dissolves better. And we're just going to mix that up a little bit, get that cornstarch to dissolve. Okay, I can see that it needs a lot more green chilies, but we'll do that and we'll get back to you. Okay, so I've done all the green chilies and it took the whole can. They're just in strips. Okay, and now we're going to put the remaining spices in our pan that's going to go in the oven. So this is my 3 mixture dry chilies. I'm going to put about 3 tablespoons of this. I'm going to put some coriander that's not opened. I think I did this last time in a video. Okay, I'm going to put some coriander, about a teaspoon. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of cumin. And a tablespoon of dark chili powder. I already put garlic in it, so we don't need to redo that. And then we're just going to stir that up a bit. So when we put this in the oven, we want the fluid to cover the meat, just barely, or cover the meat mixture, just barely. So after we stir this up, we'll put our wet ingredients in it. or other wet ingredients that will bring up that wet ingredients to the right level. Okay, you can kind of see what this looks like when it's stirred up. So now we're going to pour in our Los Pomos green chili enchilada sauce. And we're going to use the whole can. We like Arizona Mexican food is moist. It's not dry. Okay, and we're going to stir in that and see what our fluid level looks like. Okay, we're getting close with our fluid level, but not quite. Plus we're going to put in our chili tea. We don't make as much because it's a green chili chimichanga, so we don't want it to taste red, but a little bit of this chili tea goes a long way to mix with the green sauce. That makes it really good. Okay, we'll stir that up. If your fluid level is not high enough, you can add more beef broth. But I think this is looking good. I'll show you what it looks like. You just kind of want it almost to be covered, but not 100%. So there's what we're looking like. Okay, I've preheated my oven to 250. We're going to cook our meat low and slow. So this will take 3 to 5 hours, just until the meat gets the tenderness that you want. So this is my cast iron skillet, and we're going to place that in the center of the oven. And then we're going to relax for 3 to 5 hours. Okay, we put some of the meat mixture on our tortilla, and we want the sauce on there too. Not too much, but some. We put some cheese. This is pepper jack, Romano, and cheddar. It's a mixture. And you want to do the sides first, and then roll and then tuck it in and roll it. And then take your toothpick and put your toothpick in to hold it. And then we're going to put these in the fryer. I'm going to make one more because we can do 2 in the fryer at once. Some more green chili in there. A little more sauce. Cheese. And fold your sides in. Tuck this in and roll it. And then put your toothpick in here. Now those 2 are ready to go into my fryer. And I've got my grease at 375. I'm just going to drop those in there. This is what it should look like when it comes out, just kind of golden. And then in Arizona, like I said, we have moisture on ours, so they don't serve them dry like this. So what I do is take some of the sauce without the meat and put the sauce over. This sauce could use a little more cornstarch. If it had more cornstarch, it would not be so runny. And this is a sour cream cheese mixture I make. Guacamole. You can see how I make my guacamole in my guacamole video. And then a little bit of lettuce. A little bit of cheese. And there you go. And this is ready to taste. So I'm gonna see if I can show you what it looks like inside. Look at that. Big chunks of meat. Oh, so good. So good.